that's what I'm hearing. Hey there, fellow gamers. Ben here from Citterblock Studios for another week's episode of Castles and Cocktails, the show where normally we're playing games, but today we're finishing. This is part 2 of the Secret of Mana drawing. We also sit back, talk about game stuff, have a few drinks or cocktails or whatever, and generally have a good time. So this week's drink of choice, I decided to opt back away from the fizzy things and go for something a little bit more, we'll call it cocktaily. It's a slow Kentucky screwdriver, bourbon, orange juice, a slow gin, nice and easy. Pick it up right where I left off last week, so I got, this far with this drawing. So having the week off in between working on it, I can kind of better see now the things I need to do to get it to where I need it to be, and everything like that, basically. Um, so I want to play a bit with knocking back this grass to being a little bit oranger to match the pinkness of the sky and everything that we're getting in with the lighting, trying to match that at least to some degree to the initial screenshot. That's what the word I was looking for. Sorry, it's a little warm in here today, so I'm really just going to be plugging away and getting this drawing done, and then probably be doing a little bit more with the after show today than usual, just because I don't have that much further to go with this, and should lean into uh, the after show as more of the sort of more of the main show, but without the need to do so because I am in between games currently. So I actually want to bring some of this orange color, I think, into the grass and just kind of kick back that greenish color until it's a bit more muted. So I have a lot of that going on, but it's a little bit too green, I'd say. So just bring some of that extra color in. Pushing that around. My biggest struggle here is going to be dropping the figures in. Probably just going to be little blobs of color more than anything else. I'm not forcing that too far, but it's also a little out of my wheelhouse to do anything character related, so at least relatively speaking, I know I do some ink drawings here and there with characters, but those are more direct one-to-one copies of official art, so I can only do so much with that. Alright, that looks a little bit better. At least on my end, anyway. Might try and bring some of this other orange into here, just in some of these other areas. And I guess I was using some of this at some point too. Get this for some of my darks. And everything like that. Don't want it to be a solid color here, but some things do need to stand out. Oh yeah, I'm already sweating down here. Keeping my finger blending a little more minimal. Okay, think that's pretty good for now. I can have to peel a little more of this off. So I'm going to want some of this color in with the base of the tree, but the tree itself can start working on. So it looks like the trunk of the tree actually leans a little bit more yellow, but I do want to work on some of the, work in some browns for it. So I think I'm going to use this sort of oxide color as my base. And again, from last week, unlike the screenshot, I'm giving the tree a little bit more of a root system to it. I like to be able to get the tree to be a little bit more realistic than just the simple, base of that screenshot, to make sure I push a little extra color and finesse into that. Just kind of fading that down into the base. Utilizing more of the yellow for the bark. Push that contrast just a little bit more. It's roughly that same color there, isn't it? Great. It's just regular. That's probably the same color too, huh? Yeah, roughly. There's a gray. I can probably use some of the gray. Just kicking back that tone a little. And then the blue. Some of the blue and the violet that I was using in the clouds, just to push a little shadow into that section as well, without making it too overpoweringly one or the other. Not that one of these lighter ones, I think. Okay, I want to get some lighter color in here now. Highlight out that tree. A bit of the dark, just right in the center. That looks pretty good. I do want to work some of the grassier sections back up around the roots. Just or tree sections, whatever they are. Whether we decide that the grassy lower green section are roots or trees, depend a little bit on what do we do with our strokes, as well as some of our darker colors. That's all right. pull it out maybe just a little bit more here. All right. I'm going to start by actually probably using that same color to just start building up our tree a little bit in terms of our general shape. And we'll just slowly build up the color around and everything. I really don't have much to say today. Just plugging away here on the drawing. Xenoblade Chronicles is taking up a lot of my mental bandwidth right now, so kind of just I'm sitting here working on this, thinking about the other game, which I really wish I could have been streaming, but lack of a capture card has its drawbacks, I guess you could say. The games that I'm really loving and have the most interest in playing right now, I just don't have the ability to stream. So I keep finding these little other projects and games for the stream every week. All right, that's pretty good. Let's start building up some of this other color. Not a ton, but start figuring out where I want the highlights to kind of sit. More on top than the bottom, of course, but sort of layering them up and over a bit. It's not bad. All right. So I want to bring some brighter color in here, brighter greens. Probably this guy. It's that Sinbar green, I think, from what I was using. Somewhere probably up in here. Yeah, that's perfect. Just slowly work in those lighter greens. And I would say it's probably better if the tree itself is a little bit different in color to the rest of the landscape because I want the tree itself to stand out. So I'm probably going to put not only both more highlights but also more shadows into it just to amp up that contrast and make it stand out a bit more. Kind of just going with some simple up and down strokes here, not really going crazy with my shapes. Keeping things pretty simple. And as I work on this, that's sort of my thought behind this is just that I'm allowing myself to work a little more simply and a little in terms of not necessarily detailing everything because we're working on a game off of a game screenshot. I want it to still seem a little bit more simplistic and stylized as the game was in its day. So, like the tree, fairly basic shape on the tree. Just kind of going from there. little bit of improvements, but nothing catastrophically different. Okay, so this is a little bit too far to the one side in terms of color. I do have this that's pretty good. Sort of a brighter yellow-green that in smaller little bits is a nice color. Again, the lighter I get, the next tonal value up I go for each color. I'm using a little less sparingly each time, or a little more sparingly each time rather, because I don't want to overpower and just make it one solid color. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to come in with this brighter color I was using in the trees a lot and just kind of graze the top of it a little. Maybe even a little bit of yellow. I have this brighter yellow color is good. Just enough to kind of give the indication of some little lighter highlights and things like that. Nothing crazy, but enough to offset it just a bit. Alright, now I'm going to come in with a deeper blue. So I have this darker one that's kind of similar to a Prussian blue, the way I would paint with, and just build up some more underlying darks, especially sort of in the center and underneath that tree. Then I'll probably come in with some little bit of black as well. That's pretty good. Actually, I'll just go to this one. Just really where those darker spots are. That's pretty good. Alright, it's not bad. I can work with that. Where's that lighter? Here we go. Just give maybe a couple little extra lines into the tree, but not a ton. Alright, got ourselves a mana tree. A bit more of this bluer color in here. Maybe even just some black just to tone everything down. Alright. That's pretty good. Okay. So before we get to our foreground, we have those couple of little rivers to drop in. And the rivers in the original game were sort of this bright pink color. Now I don't think I have... Oh, I do kind of have a bright pink color. Look at that. Perfect. Now, I'm going to, again, like I've kind of been going for the rest of the piece, taking a couple little liberties. And that's, in this particular case, I'm going to say just placement of the rivers. Keeping mostly with where they are originally, but being a little more realistic with them. But, not necessarily a ton, just enough to not totally destroy the piece. So I'm gonna blur out a couple of these areas, perhaps where the forest kind of overtakes it a little bit more that you don't see. exactly where all those sections of the river are. So I'm gonna actually go over this twice. I'm gonna start with this pink color and go with one of the oranger ones I was using for the sky, I think. Just to offset that a little bit. Yeah, this was one of my big sky colors, so I'm gonna come in and just trace over top of that one with it. At least kind of running it side by side even. Because I can't necessarily see what I'm doing half this time. But that adds just a little extra to it. Blends it in. Makes it more matching to the sky. Which is a really subtle, I mean, you probably can't even see that on camera, but certainly makes me real happy anyway. Okay, time for the sort of final section of this, really. We have the figures and the rest of the piece. So I just want to grab that white charcoal pencil I kind of started everything with, because I want to at least outline where these characters are, because I don't want to have to then put the place them over top of anything green I already have down there, because then I'll end up having more problems than I want. So it's gonna just kind of try to keep this, again, simple, more like the characters in the game, not trying to reinvent anything here. Just has like a part in his hair there. Headband. Which then dips down to the back of his head. Around. With a collar. Arms just kind of stretch out to the side. Kind of just block him out a little bit. Kind of like that. The girl's pretty similar. She's pretty blocky too. Her hair kind of comes up and around. Flares out to make sort of this ponytail kind of shape. Her arms just kind of flutter off to the side. Bit of the pink and little shoes there. And then the sprites, again, also kind of similar. Just round. Everyone's kind of similar. Everyone's just sort of big round shapes. Mickey Mouse ears, you know. As long as we're kind of close with the color, we should be fine. So I'll want to maybe make his hair a little more orange. Match the sky a little bit more here. Let's do that Right. Gold or yellow for that highlighty part of his hair. A little bit of brown. It's sort of a peachy color for the skin. Yeah. It's kind of, it's more of a pink. And that white. Here. Light green. That's not bad. Gets me pretty close, that's for sure. Huh. Good thing about these distant sprites is you can actually be fairly inaccurate and still get pretty close. So pink right here. So where's the pink? In my hand. That's not bad. Okay, what else we got here? That on the arms. This was here somewhere. I need a sort of a brighter pink even. I have to hedge my colors a little bit. Go back and forth with the this and purple, and then over top of that again. Purple. It's not bad. Doable. Our shoes with those funny green colors too. Keep looking for this pink and it keeps being in my hand. Alright, she's got more of a yellow blonde hair. So I want to get this color with some of this color. Also, green ribbon in her hair. really kind of covers down most of her arms, so makes my job a little easier. I think what I'll end up doing with this is after I put my sealer coat on, I'll come in with some gouache and just finalize some details. Okay, kid's got basically blue jeans on. I am enjoying of many blue jeans. His shoes are more of a brown, so I can get. I don't have a lighter brown, do I? Damn. Oh wait, yeah I do. I got this color. And then I can just hedge that with some orange. And some ochre. Gets me pretty close. That lighter blue. Put the lighter blue in the wrong place. Awesome. Okay, he's got a little bit of blue in here, but not a ton. Just a little bit in between all the funny purple. And a lot of this is actually layers of white in between. So just use the charcoal pencil for that. Kind of looks like a fat kid based on my little sketch here, but that's all right. As long as we're kind of close. That's all that really matters. All right. So this up here somewhere needs sort of a light purple. Actually, this one. But oh, I put that in the wrong place. Well, that would make a difference, wouldn't it? This one. For his other details. Yeah, that's perfect. This plus a little blue on top of it should get me just about there. Some blue streaks in it as well. Just that purple. It's pretty solid. At least from what I can do anyway. Where's that other? There we are. I think for his other arm. Kind of lost that on this side. Get just a little more definition on his hair. And I think we'll be pretty good. All right. So, lower rocks are interesting. They have more purple to them in the shadows, but I can stick with actually a lot of my same color just for these cliff edge ones. Here, 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 here. Just seeing now from a distance on our figures here to offset a couple of things here. Her hips need to be a little wider. Alright. Okay, so I want that deep blue again. Yeah, so I'm mixing that and some browns, deeper browns anyway, and some purple. That's a brighter purple. I should have used that. Completely forgot I had that color. Yeah, it's basically perfect, and I've completely screwed that up. Awesome. Okay. That brown. On top of that, we'll just get a little bit lighter of a brown. Before again giving myself that lighter highlight color. But not a ton. Just enough to give it a little, again, finessing. Get our darks in there as well. Alright, so at this point now I just have to kind of build our foreground around the characters. And I can call this one done. Which is good, because about the time I finish that, we'll be coming up on our hour. It'll be the perfect time to lead into the after show. Spoiler alert, we're going to be flying through space. I might hop on and talk to people on Discord. Who knows? That's up there. This is here. This is here. And I want to amp up sort of, I think, the, well, actually, you know what? I think I want this to be closer to what I did with the tree. That way that actually stays in balance with everything else, so. Darker color first. Sucks to actually have to draw around these characters now, which I normally you're supposed to go to for most things from back to front, but with pastel sometimes you can't really fudge the same way, especially with me doing character work. I definitely can't fudge backwards that way, otherwise I've had to erase a lot more than I should have. Actually, in theory, I should have outlined the characters, then done the grass, then did the color for the characters, but I'm an idiot, so I didn't do that. Sorry. Since I do have plans on coming back once I drop the fixative onto this. Because also once you drop fixative onto pastels, you kind of lose half the color and everything darkens anyway. So, kind of a good thing to have that plan ahead of time. Then I can redefine some character shapes later. And since I know this actually is grass, I can actually let this be a little bit, I don't know, smoother, greener, I don't know, something like that. So I did that, and then I did the Cinvar. Sorry, my head's blocking the thing again. I do that too much. Especially when I'm trying to concentrate and see what I'm doing. Which, I mean, it's important to do that, but still. Sorry, it'll block a little bit sometimes. Alright. Now, go up to, what's this one? This one? No, I'm using that one. I was using this one. A little bit brighter color. Again, more sparingly as we go. Just seeing what would probably be in sort of front. Top, you know. Okay, there's that, and then our final white. Final yellow, whatever. Upper level edging. Even some grassier shapes in there. I actually want to grab a little dark for just some underlying shadows for those characters, just to make it seem a little more believable. All right. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, especially given that I haven't used pastels this extensively, probably in a good couple of years, as well as the fact that this was a challenge. It was something different, different way to wrap up my regular drawing, painting wrap up to a game playthrough. So played through Secret of Mana through late spring to midsummer, I guess you could call it now. Next week I'll be starting a new game, or an old new game, knowing me. Ooh, excuse me. And yeah, I guess I'll be going from there. Again, I'll probably do a little bit of extra tweaking with this, or to this rather. after I put the initial coat of sealer on it, but other than that, pretty happy with this one, at least in generally speaking. I mean, I do have a few gripes from my own working process with this one, but definitely a good challenge and a good way to kind of get myself back in the groove of working in pastels again after not really doing it for a while. So yeah, let's see if I can sign this with this pencil without screwing something up. Let's see, is it July? It's July. All right, I am signed and good to go. So I'm gonna hold this up again. I don't know if the camera can autofocus. It probably won't. I think I have that by default turned off, but I should be able to hold this up at least. Give guys a let's slide over, and down. There we go. Gives you a slightly better view of that, and see how it compares to the original. I did obviously have to adapt color a little bit based on what I did with what colors I have and what colors I can match the original. But I tried to at least, from as much as I could, stay as true to it as I could. Um, so again, you will see by the time this actually goes online to my Facebook and DeviantArt pages where you're likely to see it. You will end up seeing a slightly different piece than this one, since again we're going to be looking at slight darkening as well as extra details. I'm probably going to come in with either gouache or acrylic to kind of just hammer out some final extra little areas. But the vast majority of this is done. It's signed. It'll go into my pile to get sprayed. And then, yeah, you'll see it online sometime after that. And it'll likely be hanging in my office next week when you see me playing the next game. So you'll see it in the background. So that should be really fun. Shorter episode this week for Castles and Cocktails. We're just under our regular hour. But again, this was just sort of me finishing up this drawing part 2 of what I started last week. And we're going to be going into the after show fairly promptly around 7:30, provided I don't get distracted doing something else, which that's a distinct possibility too. Since, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of other games that are occupying my time right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you're an artist, keep on creating. If you're a gamer, keep on gaming. And this has been from Underblock Studios. Seeing you guys at 7:30 for the after show, and if not, I'll see you guys on my YouTube channel in the future, and I'll see you guys next time.